This is the Kpop Cast, and in this episode, we discuss RM's second album, Right Place, Wrong Person, HYBE ADOR's Civil War updates, and K-pop music comebacks from MCND, aespa, ENHYPEN, New Jeans, XG, and Alexa. But before we get into those topics, don't forget to join the Kpop Cast listener fam on Slack and help chip in for our editing costs. You can find all of those in a link in the episode description. And now for our hit replays.
I'm Virginia, and I'm also known as Mandarin Mama. I'm the entertainment editor for Mochi Magazine, which is the longest running online Asian American women's magazine. And I'm a new author of a novel called Elusive, if you like angst and sexy times set in a K-pop background. Please check out my book, Elusive.
Yes, and we'll talk about that more in a deep dive in an upcoming episode when we have Stephanie back to join us. Hey, everyone, I'm your K-pop DJ Peter Lowe.
And I'm your PDM Michaela, and hit replays are our K-pop song recommendations. So kick us off. Regina, what is your hit replay for this week?
My hit replay for this week is ENHYPEN's Fatal Trouble.
Fatal trouble, yes, getting blurry. 너의 기억이 무너져 내려. Fatal trouble, 널 향한 마음도 오랜 믿음도 다 coming undone. I don't know you, 무너져가. 내고 있어, 널 지키게 해줘. Fatal trouble 같은 memory 또 다른 story 날 흔들어 놔. Fatal trouble.
The title track is off of their Memorabilia Dark Moon album. And I guess it's tied into their webtoon called Dark Moon. It's a little bit confusing, but I think they have a whole series, and then their brother group and team has also a series in it, but they also have other series within it without them. So, but it is like set in like high school or something with werewolves and vampires. And if you don't know, ENHYPEN's theme is that they're vampires, and Anteen's, I guess, thing is they're werewolves. Anyhow, the song is like a rock ballad, and from the lyrics, it seems like the main character is singing about seeing someone who seems familiar, but they can't quite place them. And then they can't remember, and it feels like that person is dangerous and fatal to them. Dun, dun, dun. And then at the end, they remember.
So these vampires, as shown in this animated, is it music video?
I guess it's an MV, but it's just like animated panels of the webtoon, I guess, and just throughout time.
Something you would see in like an anime ending credits kind of look.
Yeah.
It seemed like the perfect frame for something to be scrolling up, right? Like I wasn't sure if it was going to be like a lyric video or something. But so if they're vampires, like how are they able to be out in the daytime? Do they sparkle? Like is there an explanation? Do we have that for ENHYPEN?
I have not read any of these webtoons.
Yeah, I'm not super deep into the lore, although I first of all, Regina, thank you so much for bringing this album back, because it was like the darkest, sexiest thing that I had ever heard when I first heard it. Like, yes. I was like, why are we wasting all of this energy on a side quest project? Like, why isn't this in your real albums?
I know.
But I love it. I'm so excited. I have yet to actually get into the whole webtoon lore, so I can't help you, Peter. I'm sorry. But maybe the ENHYPEN fans can help us out in the comments.
Yes, and Jeans, tell us what's going on.
They're eating a lot of stuff in this music video. I think last time we talked about this, I had the same comment, but like that's part of what stands out to me. Like they've got these like really tasty looking ice cream and snacks and processed food and stuff. So yeah. And tea or coffee.
So ENHYPEN is a 7-member boy band from Belift, which is a joint venture between Big Hit and CJENM. I guess it's entertainment. I think that's what it stands for. They were formed from a competition show called The Island, and their name is derived from the hyphen, which connects different words together to create new meanings. So also the group its aim is to come together, to connect, discover, and grow together to form a new act, which I suppose, as far as K-pop group names go, it is not the worst. But anyway. So the reason why I like it, I mean, what's not to like Michaela said, it's like it's sexy. It has all the elements I love in rock ballads. My only gripe is that there's no bridge, which I think if there was a bridge, it would be even more spectacular. But otherwise, it's like a super structured, like it's very proper verse, chorus construction, but it just taps into angst so well. Like you can absolutely tell it's like star-crossed lovers or some like super sad thing. And like the chorus, oh my God, the hook, it's so like the falsetto and the way it just hits, it's just so immensely satisfying.
It fills the space, like, it doesn't rush the song along. It just, lets you to feel the moments, feel the emotion, feel the angst.
Yeah. And again, why is this just a side project? Like, where is this sound in the albums, guys? Like, I mean, their last album was great. Like, there were a few good songs, especially in the B-sides, but nothing like this. Like, I want more of this.
Well, the whole album is so good. Mm-hmm. The whole album, like no skips, it's just lush and like dark and just it soars. Especially, I think Criminal Love. The trifecta of Criminal Love, then Fatal Trouble, and then Lucifer. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's so well done. I'm just like, yes, it's like a rock opera. The whole thing together.
That's a great way to put it. It's definitely very rock opera.
Did they play this song at their concert? Do you guys know?
I don't know. I hope so.
I don't remember. I kind of, the problem is, and HYBE has the same problem as TXT. Their titles are like whole paragraphs. And so I'm like, who can remember all those words? I can barely remember like fake love or something. You know what I mean? Like, please help old people out.
Well, it was a great concert, I heard. And it had dancing Pikachus from what I could see online.
Yeah. It did. It was super cute. Like the collective, like you could hear throughout the whole arena when they came out. It was really fun.
Virginia, did you see them in Oakland when they came through?
I did. I saw them in Oakland.
Virginia, how come we're in like the same neighborhood and we're going to all the things, but like opposite? Like, I'll be in San Jose, you'll be in San Francisco, or like vice versa. It's like, maybe we're the same person, we just can't be at the same place at the same time, or else people will know. But yeah.
I don't know. I think it's because you go to cooler things.
No.
And I go to things with much easier access.
You go to all the cool things, Virginia. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's very kind of you to say, but you're the one like DJing like all these like parties, and I'm like, wow, I really want to go, but also I'm tired.
Yeah,
that
was...
Well, speaking of DJing and mixing things up, Peter, what is your hit replay for this week?
Yeah, it's the first time I've not the first time. I'm sure I've talked about mashups and remixes before as a hit replay, but this time I thought it really warranted its own hit replay shout out. So it's Shim Mixes, New Jeans, How Sweet, and ETA mashup.
Yeah, don't you know how sweet it tastes? ETA. Yeah, don't you know how sweet it tastes? ETA. Yeah, don't you know how sweet it tastes? ETA. Now that I'm without you right now, 나 너무 먹지 않을래? ETA. 알려주지 않아도 돼. ETA. Yeah, don't you know how sweet it tastes? ETA. Now that I'm without you.
So if you didn't know, Shim Mixes is like I don't know. I'd call this guy like an OG.
Definitely.
What is it? Jim Josh. He did mashups going back to, I want to say 2011-ish. And he was like kind of, maybe even 2010, but he was like the spiritual successor to Masa Mixes, if anyone remembers that Gen 2 mashup artist. And at one point, those two guys did like a couple mashup medleys together. So it was almost like the handshake, or anyway, like, you know, like they were like giving each other like the nod that like, oh, this guy is my successor. So anyway, SHIB Mixes, like, I feel like the mashup as a medium and as the popular artifact just isn't in vogue anymore. People don't really care about mashups, especially at K-pop events. Like, if you play a mashup, they're like, but this interrupts my choreography, or like, you know, like.
So it's all about the AI covers now. It's like the same thing, but a little different.
Maybe, yeah. Like if it's the same harmony, same melody, same vocals, same lyrics and everything, yeah. But like a lot of people get frustrated and like, oh, Peter, you skipped over my killing part. I'm like, oh, sorry. So like K-pop fans are really particular, right? And it's something naively I'm trying to change. Anyway, that all aside, this mashup I just really like, and you know, it's one of those things where I think the hallmark of a good mashup is that it stays with you, and it's more memorable than the originals themselves. And as much as I love both HYBE and ETA, this is, you know, more than the sum of its parts. Like it's just really fun. I told him, I messaged him separately that I just really like how he kept the horns going in the song, because you know, they're technology being what it is now, it's a lot easier to strip out the individual components and then layer in exactly what you want. So keeping in the horns in this case was a very deliberate choice. So I thought like added more to the production. And, you know, he didn't do a lot of it in this case, but one thing I'll also just call out about SHIB Mixes is that he is also known for like doing really fun, okay, maybe a little bit of context. You guys interrupt me or stop me if I'm going on too long here, but it's a common formula whenever you're doing a mashup, and it's like very easy to even do it live, like without any planning whatsoever, where you can be like, oh, this song is in this key, this song is in this key, they can go together. They don't have to be identical keys, but, you know, so long as they work together. And you get them at the same BPM. You make sure that the verse of song A also matches with the verse of song B in terms of like making sure the lyrics are on top of the harmony of the other songs, such that you maintain that structure throughout. What I really love about SHIB Mix's style of doing mashups is that he will often take like multiple instrumental parts, and then he will kind of rearrange the instrumental. Sometimes, like if you're used to hearing, I don't know, he didn't do it in this case, I think for good reason, but like, you know, if you wanted to have the horns be their own melody or their own bass line of themselves, he will often do that in a lot of his mashups, such that it like, you know, it's a very creative blend. It's like the original instrumental wasn't that way, but it will better frame or complement the vocals. So he'll have this really nice medley in his mashups, which is why I think he's quite frankly the best out there. Okay. That all to say, like, yeah, it's a great hit replay. And it's a chill vibe, and you know, I think there's probably more in this direction where we could probably get like a super medley mix of like, you know, New Jeans songs together, because they're all kind of like, you know, honestly, they're all kind of in the same vibe. So you could create a master medley, I think. And maybe this is a tease of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, HYBE is kind of the same feel, right? Wait, is HYBE
Yes.
and HYBE right? Okay, because
HYBE,
it's terrible, but I get... Yes. Oh, yes. They need a master mix, a mega mix. Because they're all, yeah, like you said, the same vibe, but the same kind of BPM.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of all over the place BPM-wise, but there are ways you can...
Oh, okay. But it feels the same, kind of like upbeat kind of thing. No, I totally agree with you that he elevated both songs by smashing them together. Like, it's this mashup is so much catchier than the original House Suite. And it's probably because of the super catchy hook of What's Your ETA? that it was stuck in my head for like, so it's still stuck in my head actually since I listened to it for this episode.
Can I also just say really quickly that New Jeans Coca-Cola advertisements are really good. Like,
I know they really are.
Like Zero, or what was the song? Yeah, Zero. The Coca-Cola song. Like better than Ives I Want, which was also a really good song.
Oh,
but Coca-Cola did it better, I think.
Yeah, they won the battle. I distinctly remember us having a versus with those
That's
two
right.
ads.
Yeah. Okay. Well, enough about my mashup. PD and Mikhail, it's your turn. What's your hit replay?
Yeah, so wrapping it up for this week with hit replays. To be honest, this
with
week...
the best hit replay, right? You always have the best one every week.
Well, yeah, that's the unspoken rule now. I don't think I need to remind people that, because, this is why I go last. It's the best.
Well, for listeners who are tuning in for the first time.
Yeah.
I just had to set it for them.
As far as hit replays this week, like this was a really great week for female artists and Kim Namjoon as far as like new releases in music. So I have to give my hit replay to the one boy group holdout on my playlist, and that is Top Gang Volume 2 by MCND.
MCND to begin. By my rain days. That's up on the 총성. 열어준 테니 들어와 패기 넘치는 baby. 재미로 제끼고 챙기는 제끼 to begin.
So MCND, if you guys haven't heard about them before, if you were in our Slack, you know I am an MCND stan. Like it's me and Eric always going hard for MCND in our Slack because we absolutely love them. They were our super rookies from 2020. But for those of you that don't know who they are, MCND is a 5-member group under Top Media Entertainment. Top Media, for people who don't know, was the group founded by the was it 45-year-old Mangne from Shinhwa, Andy. He founded that label, and their first boy group was Teen Top, and then they had Beck Percent, 100%, and then Up Tension after that, and now their new group, which is the only group under their label now other than Andy, is MCND. And so they've got 5 members: the leader Castle J, Bic, Minjae, Heejun, and Win. They debuted back in January of 2020 with the first version of this song, Top Gang. And so that makes this year like their 4th anniversary, which is really exciting that, they're starting off their 4th year in the game with kind of a throwback to one of their original projects, which for me feels very much like a thing that they do a lot of, is these kind of like almost 3rd gen, 2nd gen sounds, which is probably one of the reasons why I like them, because basically, like, I love this song because it reminds me of the time when we used to glorify gun violence in K-pop. Remember that? Remember how we used to do that?
Wait, are we thinking of like BAP One Shot?
We're talking BAP One Shot. We're talking early BTS. We're talking early Monsta X.
Bang,
like,
bang, bang.
It reminds me of that, but then it's also correct me if I'm wrong, Peter. I want your opinion. For me, this is like the closest to grime that we've heard in K-pop in a while, because it's hip hop, but I feel like the BPM is such that it's like very EDM, and like that's what I think of when I think of grime music. I think of like hip hop, but like something you could also like fist pump to. You know what I mean?
I'm not the expert authority when it comes to grime music, but I think like we said it before, and I just want to reiterate, BPM doesn't always mean more energy or style necessarily. It's more vibe.
Okay, maybe
feeling,
not
right?
BPM, but like EDM, like
I'm trying to see if.
Wait, is grime EDM? I thought grime was like really dirty hip hop kind of vibe.
Or at least like the way that I think of grime is like it has a like the at least the melodies, or at least the tempos, usually have a foundation in like what you would hear from EDM, right? But it's more hip hop in the percussion elements, I think. At least that's what I think of when I think of grime.
It's so interesting that you mentioned that they remind you of 2nd gen, because I recall listening to a few of their songs when they first debuted, but when I was listening to this song, it really reminded me of Stray Kids' God's Menu.
God's Menu goes harder though. That having just played it in front of a live audience this morning, God's Menu definitely goes harder.
But with less gun violence is what I'm saying. It's the gun violence that makes it specific, like the literal sounds and the
God's
sirens.
Menu has do.
Yeah, but they're chefs. They're chefs cooking in the kitchen,
Five-star Michelin,
not Top Gang out on the streets, like shooting on them with dead bodies everywhere. Blah blah.
No, I think it's the combination of the beat and the who's the rapper with the super low voice? Him. Yeah. So I just always associate super low voices with Felix, right? So I think that's probably
Felix
is Stray Kids, right? I'm sorry, folks.
It's like every rapper in every like K-pop group. Sorry, you're all Felix now. Like,
yeah, which isn't fair. I realize, but that's that's what.
But before there was a Felix, there was a Bang Young-guk in BAP.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Who's the low voice in ATEEZ?
Probably Mingi.
Okay, I don't know. I should know, but that's my other favorite low male voice in K-pop.
From the fourth gen. Yeah. But anyway, back to MCND, guys, because again, this is the best hit replay of the week. Other than the glorifying of gun violence in the song, which was always hype, it's really exciting for them to go back to an original project. And they specifically talked about when they were writing this song that they wanted to try stuff that they hadn't done before and to show that their growth. Again, this is after 4 years. They've done international tours in like the Middle East and South America. They've grown musically. Like this is a more aggressive style of rap that they hadn't really tried before, but I think they pull off really well. And going back to what you said, Virginia, Wynn wanted to show off like his deeper vocal and like how his voice has evolved since they debuted back in 2020 when they were little babies. So go check out the whole album, but specifically check out this track.
I think it's funny how they have like bang, 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 gang, 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 pow, pow, pow. What else do they say? At one point they say puppy. I don't know, but just that they had to be like pop, pop, pop. Yeah.
But it's fun
There's
words.
a reason why it's so popular in hip-hop rap music. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what? I think you're right, by the way, Michaela, about it being grime. I was just not being an expert in grime music, but listening to some user-generated playlists of grime music. This sounds just like it. But you know what? Some of the sounds in the background kind of reminds me of is Virginia might appreciate this, and Michaela's might go over your head. But like that sound of like putting a floppy disk like into the computer. And it goes like the sound of the computer like reading the whirring. Like the old what dimension floppy disk are we talking about? Like
the 3x5 or the
smaller
5x5?
Floppy disk,
5x5,
the one that
3x5?
was like barely 2 megabytes or like 1.4 megabytes.
Oh, those might be the 3x3s,
okay,
or the 2.5s or whatever.
Well, anyway, that one. Yeah. That sound effect, I hear it in the background of this song. Like, where is it? Yeah, in the chorus. In the chorus of this song. I feel like I hear that whirring in the background. Okay. Moment of silence for magnetic storage. Okay. Moving along. So, are we good? Anything else on MCND?
No, go check them out, especially when they tour next time, because they like to tour in the U.S. Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
Okay, so moving along, Kpopdances.com every week tells us what are the top 10 and more most covered K-pop songs each week. So it's our way of kind of giving you a pulse of like what's trending, what's hot, taking our hit replays out of the picture. So number 10 at most covered song of the week is Baby Monster Batter Up. Still on the list. Number 9, we've got TXT Deja Vu. Number 8, Espa Drama. That one will not fall off the list. Number 7. I don't know. I think drama's. Never mind. Number
Anyway.
7, we've got Le Seraphim, Easy. I'm actually surprised that one isn't up there more. Number 6, we have Le Seraphim, Smart. I just played that song this morning, and like everyone ran into the floor to do the butt dance of Smart. That song is really popular.
Yes.
And then I played this next song, number 5, who got I've Hey Ya. No one danced to that, surprisingly, even though it's more popular in dance covers. Number 4, we've got Baby Monster, Sheesh. Number 3, we've got Espa Supernova. And then, okay, you guys want to guess that top 2?
Okay. From last week, it's either going to be Magnetic or Midas Touch, but I don't know which is where. I'm guessing it hasn't changed, right? Magnetic is number 2, Midas Touch is number 1.
Yep, you got it. Pete, you got it. So, yeah, Illit Magnetic was in at 70 covers this week, and Kiss of Life Midas Touch was at 82 covers this week.
Okay.
Both those songs were, of course, very popular. I was playing Illit Magnetic this morning, and then it was a sort of a weird setup. There was like a stage, and then behind the stage there was a screen where I was VJing like K-pop music videos. So a bunch of people were kind of like facing the stage, and it was like in this like main hall at this like anime convention. So there was people up on stage doing the dance with their hands, and then I looked out, and then there was like everyone in the audience, and they were all doing the thing with their hands to like Magnetic, which seemed to be more of a like lowest common denominator everyone can kind of do dance, whereas Kiss of Life Midas Touch is a hard song to dance to. I did it. I do it.
And
again, this is my second week of asking Peter, when are we going to get a full dance cover?
No, you don't want to see Fat Dad Bod dancing to that song.
Yes, we do.
So next item, and now reporting in from the secret bunker, PDM reports in on the state of the ADOR. The HYBE ADOR Civil War.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So not
give us a recap.
A lot of major updates from this week, but just like a brief kind of recap as where we are in this whole situation. So we're still kind of in the lead up to this big ADOR shareholders event that is going to be shareholder meeting that is supposed to be happening on the 31st of this month of May, and that's kind of like what we're really kind of waiting for to be the turning point in this whole civil war about like what exactly happens at that meeting and whether they actually vote Min Hee-jin out as the CEO of ADOR and bring in a new person. So as far as like new information that we have police officially starting their investigations with HYBE over their complaints against Min Hee-jin. Those are, those complaints that kind of like started this whole thing about her engaging in a breach of trust with HYBE and their claims of her trying to take over the company and like take New Jeans with them and all of that. We have B-Lift kind of entering the arena of the Civil War officially with submitting evidence against Min Hee-jin's claims of plagiarism with their group Islet. So they said that we have submitted evidence to the judicial authorities that can prove these allegations are false, these allegations of plagiarism from Min Hee-jin against Islet. And even if this may take some time, we will clarify the truth through proper legal procedures. They also mentioned that their group Islet has been getting a lot of hate within this whole scenario of people just spreading rumors and things about them, and they want to make sure that while they are focused on making sure that they vindicate themselves against Min Hee-jin's claims, that they want to protect their artists and the members during this process.
Yeah, just stay out of it, as much as they can, right? That's the main strategy. I mean, like, let them say what they're gonna say, but like, I think B-Lift seems to be taking the right approach and just not trying to take a proactive comment.
Yeah. But it is good to see like more updates about them in this, because before it was just HYBE generally versus Min Hee-jin's claims of plagiarism, but now you actually have their sub-label coming out in support of their own group.
I mean, I still just love the accusations of plagiarism when New Jeans completely plagiarized, I think, a group called Jeans, right?
Jeans, oh yes.
And they,
which we'll talk about more in a bit here.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, like, I feel like with this, like, Game of Thrones, like, you know, who's the house? Like, and I'm also thinking of Dune. I just saw Dune 2 a million years late last night. But, like, like, who is House Atreides? Like, you know, you know, House Harkonnen. Like, who are, like, these are, like, the different, like, warring houses under HYBE Entertainment, I feel like. Okay.
what do you mean, like, who is what? Like
who would be, like, is, like, Be Lift, for example? Are they, like, one of the more, like, off to the side houses? Like,
until this point, technically, yeah, they were, because they weren't until this official statement from them. They hadn't really been involved directly.
But like Big Hit has totally clapped back because all their main big producers have filed petitions against ADOR and it's I would say the main houses would be Big Hit versus ADOR, because I mean she actively has a hate boner for BTS, right? Like, and it's like they released all these new, I think as of this morning, all these new texts that all these Kakao Talk chats, right? And it's like even more evident of like how,
what did she have against BTS?
I think she just wants them to fail and fail big, and the whole
Why?
idea is, the theory is that she was at SM during the big, like, XOLs versus Army, and like instigated a lot of stuff like that. So I don't know. Like, I am not her. But the idea was to take advantage of their enlistment. And then, like, the playbook is very similar, right? The Sajegi accusations and
Chart manipulation.
yeah. I think that, like, similar to like the Break Wings project and like all those things. So
What is this project?
oh, Break Wings was back during when BTS released the Wings album, and then in particular the XOLs started like the Break Wings campaign, which was to like do everything they could to sabotage their comeback. And then I think this was around also the same time as the Black Sea project, I think, is like when they were at award shows. Usually, you know, you still put on your light stick for bands you don't stand, right? Because it's polite. And but like it was all dark on purpose, you know? So it's just, I'm not saying like the Army fandom is always great because, you know, there's this, the whole like Jenny Soul Cycle thing has been very bad. Have you not seen it? I would not click on it. It's very bad. Okay. But basically, in short, like RM just released a video, an MV for Groin, and it's basically him in a tracksuit just dancing all over London, or in a London neighborhood. And I guess some Blancs, I don't know. Some Blackpink fans decided to insult RM and say, oh, he's so ugly and blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, Army's mad about it. So then they started being extremely like, okay, I get that you want to drag another group. I get you want to drag another fandom for dragging your fave, right? But like misogyny is not the way to do it. So yeah, so there's all sorts of horrible, vile things that they are trending about, in particular Lisa and Jenny. And like some of them have like very explicit photos like that they've doctored, and you're just like, that is so gross, for lack of a better term. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to take this detour. We can cut all of this. I'm so sorry.
No, that's all good. I think it's helpful context. I think it's just interesting, like the depths of petty fandom like wars and disputes like knows no bounds. But like, to what end, really? Like, you're not going to reach at a point where like someone won, quote unquote won. It's like, and like, why even do it? Like, who cares? Like, if someone else is doing something that, like, why do you have to take someone else down? It's just the thing. Like, I'm perplexed by. I guess people would say that about our show. Like, I think they would perceive us saying like, oh, we said something negative about this artist. Well, why do you have to say something so negative about that artist? I don't know. It's not like we're trying to go out there to take that person down or anything, but.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, some positive news, at least from the recent frontline reportings, was aespa has been out promoting their new album, and they kind of got pulled into this when Min Hee-jin gave her press conference and showed, to your point, Virginia, those cacao messages between her and Bang PD. Talking about how they wanted to crush aespa with their girl groups from HYBE. Mm-hmm. So they officially had these statements from their press for the album, talking about how they have nothing but love for New Jeans. Like, they're promoting together right now, and they're showing each other support and love. Right. And when it comes to their music and their goals, they try to crush the last project that they did. It's not about crushing other people. So, which I thought was so sweet to hear from Karina and the girls, that it's they reminding them that this is all petty company shit, and it's not about the actual groups themselves.
And you could say like, oh, the reason, of course, they want to like be another company's group, right? Like, and maybe they're just using hyperbole. Like, I mean, I don't think anytime you like in sports and the playoffs are like, let's crush the other team. No one's like literally saying you should squash them under like some giant foot or whatever. Like, so like
yeah, so that's it for major reporting from the front lines this week, guys. Like I said, we're really going to know in the next 2 weeks after the shareholder meeting whether things change or stay the same.
What's going to happen to New Jeans?
Oh, well, we know that if ADOR does vote Min Hee-jin out, they are going to stay at ADOR. We know from, I believe it was Soompi released a report that HYBE responded that if they don't have an official replacement yet, we'll find out who that replacement is at the meeting, and that people were speculating that maybe New Jeans would be under another sub-label in the meantime, while they're trying to figure out this whole ADOR stuff out. But they said that there's no moving New Jeans from ADOR. New Jeans is going to stay there.
Mm-hmm. Because the emperor has determined that the best way to maintain power is to make sure that these houses are warring against each other underneath the HYBE, master empire. So, yeah, be it the Baratheons and the Starks, or the Atreides and the Harkonnens.
See, Peter, I wish I knew more of what you were talking about, because this sounds fun.
maybe it should be like Harry Potter houses.
Yeah, but who would be what? I guess Hogwarts
Slytherin
overall?
Slytherin would be ADOR. I guess it wouldn't be like
no,
Hogwarts,
but you need a top, right? Like, so you had the Targaryens, right? Who are like, the incumbent like leaders over everyone. Mm-hmm. Then you had all the houses underneath that. Mm-hmm. Same thing in the Dune universe. You had the Emperor, right? And then all the major houses. So in Harry Potter analogy, who would that be as that like master top level?
Oh, I guess they wouldn't have one because all the houses are supposed to be equal, right?
Right, like it's the four.
Mm-hmm. Well, let us know what you think in the comments of this episode.
That was an excellent
And who's going to
segue.
take, what was it in the fourth book of Harry Potter, and who's going to take the cup?
The Goblet of Fire.
Goblet of Fire, there we go. How many like mixed metaphor analogies can we make between K-pop and like fiction and sci-fi? Okay, so up next, hot issue, how you think? So this is where we just share the one thing that we want to share or gush or bitch and complain about. Or it could be like a really positive thing, in which case it's a very positive thing this week. So Virginia, we invited you on specifically to talk about this thing. So go ahead, dive right into it.
Well, all right. So we're going to be talking about RM's new album, Right Place, Wrong Person? Right Person, Wrong Place. No. God damn it.
Right Place, Wrong Person.
Right Place,
the
Wrong
album.
Person.
Yeah, I have
And
to keep
it's
looking
a-
at the acronym. Yeah.
It's hard, folks. I'm so pleased that it is so good. It is.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by how good it was. No offense on RM, but like, yeah, it was a delightful surprise.
Yeah. When he said alternative, this was not the alternative I was thinking of. I was thinking of more like The Cure, Erasure, Depeche Mode, because that's an alternative I grew up with. So that always reigns supreme in my mind. And so, but it's more like alternative hip hop, I guess. And it's very funk, jazz, blues, alternative hip hop. And I feel like a lot of people said it was experimental and like unexpected. But to me, I feel like it's really just in line with what he's been doing, especially if you look at Indigo, because Indigo was also like a mash of genres. And so I feel like it's just an extension of that. It's very obvious that there's Balming Tiger influences.
Oh, yes, 100%. He's been hanging out with those guys too much.
Yeah, well, I think San Yon, or I don't know, like he's one of the Balming Tiger guys, and he worked a lot on this album. And then I think even the director that they used for the, I want to say Groin MV, is one of the directors that works with Balming Tiger a lot. So
Okay, yeah.
that's what I hear. I don't know. I have not verified, but that is what I have read. But yeah, it's such a good album, and I think it really showcases RM's like musical vocabulary, like how well. What's the music term for like well read? But whatever that is, how well read he is in like musical influences, and he does it in a way that doesn't feel derivative, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't make it doesn't feel like he's copy pasting something, but like he integrated it into himself and then made something of it. So that's what I really appreciate about the album. And the album is like super sexy. You're like, and it is again like lyric number bajillion where RM tells everybody his favorite position. You're like, okay, we get it.
What position is that? I totally missed that detail.
Oh, every chance he gets, this man talks about how he likes to be ridden. And you're like, okay, we get it. We get it. Okay.
Is that on the bottom? Like what?
Yeah.
Explain it to me like I'm 5.
The woman on top position, I believe, is his preferred.
Wait, how does he pronounce that in the lyrics? Where does that?
Well,
where does
I
that
think
come
it's
out?
at least the tweet that you're thinking of, right, Peter, is where they talk about whoever Rid Namjoon like changed his life or whatever. That one I believe is specifically referring to the song "Nuts" on the album, where he specifically talks about this girl who's like a pro rider and a pro gaslighter, right?
She's a pro rider, an A1 guider. And you're like, okay. And it's not the first time, because on his he does it when it's part of his lyrics when he is on the Sexy Nukim with Balming Tiger. It's also on his lyrics for, I think, what's that collab he did with Suga and who's that rapper who died, and then Suga was on his song
Juice WRLD.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they did that on the OST for the BTS OST for their game. So yeah, his All Night. He talks about that on All Night. He talks about it, I want to say, like obliquely on one of the ciphers about writing the beat, and like he just talks about writing a lot. Okay, and we're like, okay, all right, Namjoon. we understand. We understand.
It talks about being written,
yes.
right? Like, okay,
yeah. So yeah, but it's a really sexy, like not just like the lyrics that are dirty, because like Nuts, he's talking about like, oh, so like it starts off with I have a good place for you. I'm preparing a good place for you. So, and then she's a pro writer, and you're like, okay, like but he's talking about other things, right? But like it's a very extended metaphor, and we can just, if we want to be like PG about it, then yeah, it's a metaphor for things, but I'm pretty sure it's not a metaphor for things. I mean, it could be both. So,
by the way, the tweet that we were referencing earlier, I can't even pronounce this Twitter username because it's like a string of like letters and numbers here. But like the when you can write your own name on Twitter, they wrote Loki with a 0 for an O, and then the seventh album 7 on the top of it. And they tweeted, "Whoever wrote June, y'all changed that man's life." So that's just so we're all on the same page on
right.
cultural references here.
But getting back to the album.
Yes. The album itself.
Yeah, it's also really good. I'm on record along with Stephanie as saying that we want RM back. You know, the RM from his first mixtape. Like we want bops, we want bangers, we want party tracks we can shake ass to. The last 3 projects haven't really been that, but I feel like we are getting a little bit closer with this one. Because like one, I love that we start off with like the first 3 tracks being like angry Namjoon, like like angry rap Namjoon, which I feel like I haven't heard in a while. Like whenever I hear that version of him and whenever I hear that flow, like it reminds me of like you know, Kendrick with his rap beef songs. Like it's like this righteous anger that you just want to be like, yeah, like talk your shit, like that. And that's what I love, because that's something that he's so good at, and why he was originally Rap Monster in the first place. But you know, now he's RM.
Even Groin is like a super angry song. Like he's talking about like, you know, stop riding. He says, "Get your ass out of trunk," which a lot of people interpret as like, stop riding our coattails. And then I think he talks about, oh, you walk like a duck, bitch, which a lot of people associate it with like, you know the phrase, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, then it is a duck, right? And so at the very beginning, he talks about like, all you bastards, and like all your talking, and like, you know, shut up. Like how did I become like a spokesperson for everybody? I'm not a diplomat. And then,
I love that. I love this.
Yeah.
It's like so real, and it's not just feeding into the sadness of those kinds of emotions. It's being more proactive and aggressive about it, which I think Jimin also mentioned that he enjoyed that, hearing that version of Namjoon again, at least in that Mini Money video that they put out.
Yeah.
It is interesting. So since we're talking about Groin right now, like, you know, he's dropping all those F-bombs, like, and well, there was a time, right? Like early on, they were swearing, and then it felt like I don't know, Dynamite era. They went into like Disney mode, where they couldn't say or imply bad things, but like now it feels like they're kind of returning to the roots. Maybe like I don't know. That's just my softer read of what's happening. But what do you think, Virginia? Like, is it like did they have a little more vulgar version of themselves? Like I want to say pre-Wings. It had to be before that point, right? Like,
oh, I mean, I feel like a lot of their songs, it's not so much vulgar. It's more like they're a lot less censored, and I feel like less self-conscious, right? And they just, I mean, a lot of they were banned for a while from the government radio stations because of their stances on certain things. So I think with like the Dynamite era, they were probably trying to cater to Western pop a little bit, and their image was a lot more family friendly. And I think they just wanted to put out positive things, right? Like Permission to Dance is treacle, right? Like, because they just like, oh, we're so sick of the pandemic, we just want,
so they had everyone taking their masks off at the end of it.
Yeah, you know, and so But if you listen to the albums that they put out, if you just listen to the B-sides, they're not censored either. You know what I mean? But I think they lean more into like sad boy era, right? Because the pandemic was so exhausting for us, right? For people in general. So I think they leaned into like identity and
are you thinking specifically of the B album?
Yeah, like the B album, but even like Love Yourself. Well, I guess that was before the pandemic, but yeah, like even Mott's era, right? Like Map of the Soul, they were tired, and they were originally supposed to enlist right after Map of the Soul, after that World Stadium tour, but then everything got shut down, and so their plans changed. So I think it's not that they were softer, but I think they were more conscious of the world looking at them, right? And so
the world looking at them, and then also them being representatives of Korea, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just the world; it's also everybody in Korea is now looking at them too.
And then
Something a little more closer to home.
But like a lot of the Korean media was also not kind, right? So you have like Western media being like, what is this K-pop? And then people calling them like the Kung Flu and just being racist in general, which, you know, a lot of the other K-pop bands have experienced, like at the Met Gala, right? I think it was Stray Kids who experienced, was it Stray Kids? Stray Kids, right?
Yeah, Stray Kids, yep.
And, you know, and then the Korean media was like, what's the big deal? What are they doing? What's going on? And we're like, oh, this is not a big deal, right? Or whatever. So I think there must be like so much frustration. And then what I love about Right Place, Wrong Person, Wrong People. I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting what the name of this RPWP.
RPWP.
Right? Is that it just really, the whole album is incredibly dissonant. Like it just, the whole time you listen to it, you just feel slightly uncomfortable. Most of the songs don't have like a main melody. A lot of them are atonal. A lot of the rhythms, like if you listen to Out of Love, if you listen to Interlude, and even Around the World in a Day, all of them have incredibly complex time signatures. Like they keep switching every few bars. The beats are very different. There's no main melody. It's like if you try to think of a melody off of the album, you really can't think of any other than maybe like Come Back to Me, which is like a ballad, like an indie ballad, right? Like, but the whole song is like, the whole album is like uncomfortable. And it doesn't really let you rest. And there have been complaints that the lyrics are very repetitive, but I feel like on multiple songs. But I feel like it's almost like you know when you go through like anxiety attacks or whatever, you have to, they tell you one of the recommendations is to like repeat a mantra like I am a tree and my roots sink deep into the ground and nothing can move me or whatever. Like you just repeat it. And I feel like a lot of his lyrics on this album are like that. You know, they're just like, okay, you kind of grin and bear it until he can't bear it anymore. And then he's just like, fuck all of you. Right. So it's just this constant feeling of you don't quite fit. And so I feel like it must capture a lot of how they felt when they unexpectedly blew up in the West, right? When they became, starting in like 2017, 2018 was like, I think when they really became in the spotlight, that's when I found them, you know, and that's when they actually considered disbanding because they're like, what the fuck, what is going on? Like, this is too much, right? And then they just kept going higher and higher. And, but they're not really accepted by the US or Western media. They're always like an oddity or a joke, like, why are you here? Or, oh, you're winning social award this time. And then rules keep changing. And then, you know, the talk show hosts don't really know how to talk to them or, you know, but then in Korea also, they were experiencing like, oh, you guys are just, you've sold out. You know, like what does this even mean? Like, how hard is it to get a Grammy anyway? You know, like all these things. So like nowhere, and they didn't really have peers in Korea, right? The closest maybe would be like Psy, you know, because Psy blew up for a while, you know, but they don't have any peers in that sense, right? Like that could say, hey, they've broken through this market. They're dealing with So I feel like it really captures that feeling of like, oh, this isn't right, but like, I'm sorry, I'm talking so much. I'll stop.
No, and you're good. You wrote a whole review, and I was going to ask you questions to basically surface what you're talking about now. So keep going.
Oh, okay. Oh my God. But yeah, so I mean, I think even in that Mini Mani music video that you were talking about, Michaela, that they RM, especially at the beginning, says, "Oh, he's trying to explain the title to Jimin, right? Like, because Jimin's like, what does this mean?" And he's talking about that, like, that feeling of like, do you ever feel like you're it's like surreal, right? Like, oh, I'm in the wrong place, or this doesn't quite fit, or I'm the wrong person. Like they're like a kind of imposter syndrome feeling. But the first track of the album flips it to right people, wrong place. And I think it's very important because it reminds you that it's society that's wrong and not you, and I really appreciate that. And then he talks constantly about like right and wrong being relative and flipping constantly, like depending on the situation. And I feel like you see that theme run throughout all the songs, especially if you, like, I feel like you can tell even just musically, the sound, like, again, it feels right, but also it feels wrong at the same time.
But
like,
also visually, right? And all the music videos that we, at least at the time of the record, I don't know if there are more music videos planned, but a lot of it is about like this person in a different context, right? Like in each of the music videos, from Come Back to Me to Lost and growing like had the mirrors, like all these different angles. So I think that just complements and builds on that theme that you're describing.
There's 2 more planned, I think. So we'll see. But yes, so I think it's a very, very well done and timeless album, because he even calls back to like Epic High.
Oh yeah. That was the one of my main point was like, or that I love that I think you also wrote about in your piece, was like how it feels like he's really kind of in his Epic High era, I feel like, almost with this album, because Epic High, or at least is like one of those other like senior artists that I can think of who could do something like this, or at least talk about these kinds of things and do it so well.
Yeah. And you mentioned Kendrick Lamar, and I think a lot of people have mentioned it's very similar to Pimp a Butterfly, I think is the album.
Yeah. I'd have to go back and like really listen to it again, because it's been years.
Yeah. Yeah. And then a lot of comparisons to, I think, Tyler, the Creator, right? So I'm not familiar with Tyler, the Creator's music, but I just take their word for it. But so yeah, I think I'm done. Sorry to like run on.
No, that's great. But what would you say is like the main message overall? Like, in a sentence, like what is the main thesis of this album?
I think it's, I feel like it's almost, he's saying that like, it's okay to feel like you're the right, like you're in the right place but the wrong person, or it's okay to also feel the flip of it, because we're always moving in and out of these situations and we're always growing and evolving as people. So I think that's kind of the, like, to be comfortable with discomfort, because that's what life is, right? Just so.
And maybe that you're not necessarily the problem, right? Like, I'm just reiterating what you said earlier, but like, you're not the problem. It's the society, hand wavy, it's everything else that's the issue. So it's not, you're right to feel wrong and out of place. So.
And it's so interesting that he's going through those topics as he's currently serving his mandatory military service, where he is the right person in the wrong place, or the wrong place with the right person. Society told him that he had to be here for a year and a half.
Right.
I'm really curious to see what other pages in his journal he writes about after he's done with that experience.
I know. I mean, it looks like he's having a good time, but most people just, what's he supposed to post, right? Like, he's still in the employ of the government, right? So.
Okay. Well, where can people find to go to learn more about RM's album?
Is this a layup to my article?
Yeah, I was trying to give you a softball there.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I'm reading this situation correctly.
Promote yourself, Virginia.
Well, you can read my review of RPWP on my site, mandarinmama.com.
Okay. I think there's probably a lot more we can dive into there. Maybe we can talk about it more on another episode.
The album kind of just came out. Like we need some time to like take it all in, really.
Yeah, I think Lost is an actual, like, there's a lot of, I mean, to be fair, or maybe to get myself in trouble, there's a lot of like RM songs that you just aren't going to play in the club.
Oh, yeah.
But Lost, I think, has that potential. And like, I don't know if I would call it dissonant, like Virginia, like it's not dissonant to me. It's harmonious, it flows, it's got a beat, and it's got a steady time signature. But like, you know, I think that one gets the message across while still being in a club, not like in the club, but like, you know, in a dance friendly manner.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Lost is a lot like a Still Life, where it's like funky, like you can bop to it. And yeah, you're right. That one I don't find very discordant, but it is like a fun song.
Upbeat. Yeah. Even if it's giving you existential angst in the lyrics, but.
All right, so we had to say goodbye to Peter, but now we're moving on to our Daebak or Not section of the week. The Daebak or Not section is our glass half full, glass half empty section where we list a thing and then go around saying how we feel about it, you know, whichever way we choose to interpret that thing. First off, we're going to talk about other music comebacks from this week, because even if your last song was 2 weeks ago, it's still a comeback in K-pop. So kicking us off with our discussion of comebacks is aespa's Armageddon. Are we Daebak or not on this?
Oh, 100% Daebak.
Yes,
so
okay. Right? I mean,
so good.
I love the Supernova. I love it, but there's just something about them, especially with this concept in the music video and the sound, like it's gorgeously terrifying. If like biblically accurate angels, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like that's the vibe that I get from this, and I love anytime girls can be scary.
Yeah, but hot.
Yes, so very hot. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So
yeah, I loved it.
We're Daebak on this. Do you have anything else that you want us to say about Armageddon?
It's not. I think it's the hook, but it's one of the hooks. I don't know, but it's like it's the section right after like wayo or whatever. But it's just like, and I guess it's the beat drop, but it's so satisfying. Yeah. It's so satisfying, and I'm like so upset that they only do it twice. I'm like, no, more. It's so good.
Yeah. Okay, so a next girl group comeback, because again, this was the week of girl groups. XG Woke Up. We finally got to hear what that actually sounds like. We talked about the teasers last time. Are we Daebak or not on this one?
I'm Daebak.
Yeah, I'm also Daebak. I mean, because we were listening to the teasers, and also I do want to shout out Joe in our Slack, where he mentions how, you know, they've got, like, as far as their rap goes, like they've got really good writers on this song, on this track. So I believe Year of the Ox and Chancellor are also credited on this track. So their rap is still very high quality. Like, even though people try to come for them a lot because of their aesthetics, especially in the music video, their talent is still there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to rap that well in another language and not sound weird. And I feel like they do a really good job.
Yeah. Also, I interacted with them at KCON. They're so sweet people. I want the best for them ever.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
They're so tiny. But then I'm also like 5'11", so like everybody's tiny. But they're sweet and cute.
5'11"?
Yes.
You are so cool.
Okay.
Based on height alone, that has nothing to do with you. That's so awesome. Anyway,
our last girl power comeback from this week is Alexa's "I'm Okay." Are we Daebak or not on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm Daebak. I think it's a pretty solid song. It just reminds me of Avril Lavigne, actually.
Yeah, and that's where I am going to be a not on this one, just because of just the lyrical quality. Like her vocals are always there throughout the whole song, and like you said, Avril Lavigne vibes, very strong, very powerful. But I just wish that we had a different kind of writer, because I feel like, I don't know, the message just feels like I don't. I feel like there's a more poetic way to say the things that she's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's too straightforward, and it kind of ruins it.
You can't be that depressed. Come on, you gotta hide it.
But I guess basically, yeah. I want low key depression, not the actual depression. Okay, so that wraps up our comebacks for this week. So our first Daebak, we're moving on to our Daebak or not sensational headlines of the week. The first one, JNS or Jeans sends a message to New Jeans on TikTok. You know, we talked about this last week. This is more of an update from last week, because we talked about them and their plagiarism controversy with New Jeans versus the Mexican girl group Jeans. But they made a video on TikTok talking about how they felt honored to be referenced by them. They hope maybe do a collab in the future, and are so excited to now have new fans in Korea that are discovering them for the first time. So it was just, I'm Daebak on this. Like, it's just so sweet. Like, I really hope that there is a collab in the future, because that would be awesome.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm totally Daebak on it. And I feel like it's a really smart media play, even if they're pissed. You know what I mean? Because it's a very low-key way of saying, like, yeah, you totally bit because what was it? We're so glad that Korea is now familiar with our music because of New Jeans and how they did it. Basically saying, yeah, you copied us shot for shot, you know? Like, so I just thought it was a really, really classy way to say, yeah, you guys just bit our whole thing, and we'll spin it into a positive way, because I think it could have easily been very strident, you know? And so I like that. Not saying that if you've been wronged, you have to be gracious, because I don't think you need to be, but I just really like the way these women did it. Yeah,
it kept a good vibe for the whole situation.
Yeah.
They could have been petty, but
yeah.
Not everybody's going to be Minhee-jin about it.
Wait, what?
Anyway. Yeah, so shout out to K Music Every Day. They were actually the one that posted it in our Slack, that update. So last kind of update from last episode, we talked about BI's label 131 Entertainment, and we were very confused as to why it was named 131 Entertainment. We knew that Icon was under 134, and so we were very confused. But luckily Liz, came through and said, hey, if you put the numbers 1 and 3 closer together, they become the letter B, and so it's BI Entertainment. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's his father runs the company, I think. So.
Oh, okay. See, now we know. So it's BI Entertainment is 131. Okay, so that wraps up our updates from last episode. So our first new topic, this was actually something we should have talked about last week. I had to really make sure that we put it in the docket for this week, because BM had to make an official apology following the Chicago stop of his after the after party tour, which he just wrapped up. But he said in his statement he had to apologize to all the girls that donated their bras and panties to the stage. I'm sorry you had to go home colder than you came. So, are we Daebak or not on girls throwing panties and sacrificing them to BM on stage, I guess?
I mean, I think it's Daebak. I think people usually bring panties and bras for the sole purpose of throwing it. It's not like
think so.
Soiled linens. Yeah.
Right? I'm not, to each their own, but I would like to throw clean things at the artist. I wouldn't throw something that or at least that I needed later.
Yeah. Yeah. But as a tweet, it is so funny.
It's great. And I think it really encompasses the whole vibe of that tour, which I'm really happy that it wrapped up very successfully. And I can't wait for the next time we get another thing like this with a K-pop artist, because I feel like it's something that we need. We need stages for grown folks in K-pop.
Yeah. Although I think maybe 18 and up, because 18 is an adult, right?
Right, because this one was 21 and older, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Because they were drinking.
Yes.
Okay, our next headline from this week. So the LA City Council honors Rise with a certificate of appreciation for their music video Get a Guitar, which was a partnership with the LA tourism, because that music video was all shot in Los Angeles. Side note, SM actually blocked that video of the council meeting because it featured the whole music video for Get a Guitar. So wins and losses, I guess, for SM groups. But are we Daebak or not on this?
I mean, Daebak, I guess. I don't really have an opinion. I feel like I'm very nice when I'm giving out these Daebak or nots, because I don't want to like shit on this group. It's not their fault that it's a dumb thing. You know? Yeah.
I mean, I guess it would be for me. It's like a not, because it's like a certificate of like, what is that even like? What does that do for them really? Like, why I know they were basically taking over the city of LA. Like, they were at the Dodger game. They had their fan con performance. Like, but I don't know. It's cool, but I feel like it's not like a key to the city. Like, I feel like they should have gotten something more than just like a certificate.
Yeah, I mean, it's something someone printed off their laser printer, right? Like,
Yeah.
I can make you a certificate.
I think
You wanna come
Rise
to my
deserves
house?
more. Like, the only reason I was in LA that year was to see them debut on that stage from 50 feet away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're a tentative Daebak on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's really just pandering, right? Mm-hmm. So if I was a fan, I would think it's Daebak, right? Like,
Actually, now that I'm gonna switch it up. It's a Daebak, because I feel like, especially after the whole SM Town project fell through for the city of LA, and a lot of the contractors didn't get paid for that project. I feel like this is a great first step in SM Entertainment rebuilding that trust with the city of Los Angeles.
all right, there you go. There you go. That's a good spin.
Mm-hmm. So other SM headlines. SM Entertainment founder Lee Soo-man, speaking of, has registered the trademark for a new business, A20 Entertainment. According to the trademark, this will be a company that will produce commodities related to entertainment, video games, advertising, real estate, clothing, food and beverage services, transportation, and design. So are we Daebak or not on Mr. Lee Soo-man getting back into the game potentially?
I mean, kudos for a man who defies ageism, I guess. I feel like he's a very visionary person, so it's not. I just feel like it's like an NFT 2.0, but I don't know how to explain it. It just seems. But it's not stupid. I feel like it's very smart, because it's hard to make money from music, but it's smart to make money off of the tie-ins into music, right? Like, so.
Yeah, I guess I am a tentative Daebak, though. Like I said, this is just a trademark registration. Who knows when this company will actually come into existence? We know for a fact that Lee Soo-man himself, because he sold those shares to HYBE, is under an a non-compete agreement with HYBE, so that he can't actually be working in the Korean entertainment industry for like a set number of years. I can't remember exactly how many, but I feel like it's like around like 3 to 4, or maybe even 5. So who knows when this company will actually come out, because it's specifically for the Korean entertainment industry. So who knows? It'll be a very different world in 3 to 5 years.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I guess tentative Daebak. We'll see how this goes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and so next headline is Blitzers. Our boys Blitzers. They reached the semi-final round of Britain's Got Talent. I believe they performed. Was it Shawn Mendes? There's Nothing Holding Me Back. Oh. It was a great performance. I watched it. They look so good. It was so great to see them out on stage again, I think, and out in front of like a new audience. I think they did really well considering it was like a very different stage than what they've done before. Yeah. So I'm Daebak on this. They were the first K-pop group we actually interviewed back when they were touring in San Francisco. So I always wish the best for Blitzers.
Yeah, I'm Daebak. Like, I'm still a little bit bewildered why an actual debuted group is
would go on to Britain's Got Talent.
Right? Like, I'm like, are you British? Is there a British member? It's very confusing to me.
Well, I mean, like, the Got Talents aren't necessarily limited to nationality, really. Like, it's just another place for people to showcase talent, really. Because this isn't the first time we've seen Korean acts going on to like these shows. Like America's Got Talent, there have been several Korean dance crews that have gone out onto those, and I believe there was also a Korean dance crew that came out on Britain's Got Talent before this. So this isn't necessarily the first like K-pop group to do it, but it is great for a smaller group like Blitzers to be getting their name out there. So Daebak for me.
Yeah, well, the Daebak for like exposing a different demographic to their music.
Yeah, and then hopefully we'll get to see them performing their own original songs. That'd be great. Okay, so wrapping up this segment and this episode with our last Daebak or Not miscellaneous headline. So going back to aespa, they, for their Armageddon album, had a CD player album. So it was like an actual physical CD player that like was the case for this actual CD, so you could listen to the CD with the album, which is really cool. They've got like a few different colors, and it's like translucent, so you can like very Y2K because you can see all the like stuff in it.
It reminded me of Apple's like IMAX.
Yeah, that era. Like, so are we Daebak or not on this?
I mean, I think props for like very creative packaging. I think so. Yeah, Daebak, why not? Why not pay so much money for something that plays a CD?
I guess I'm not on this, but it looks cool. I will admit it looks cool, but I don't know. I guess with I don't know if this is like a very like limited run. Like, I don't know all the specifics, I guess, about this, but for me, I'm just like, well, there's so much extra waste in the K-pop album space that I'm like, I don't think we need extra categories of non-recyclable materials.
Oh, but you can use this though, right? Like,
I guess in my mind, I'm thinking of like the bulk buying scenario and people just like ultimately maybe throwing these things away.
Oh, I guess I just think of it as like, electronics break down, especially like new electronics. Like, I feel like if this was made in the 70s or 80s, it would last until the end of time, until Armageddon. But since it's made now, like it will break in like,
right. Even think
2
about
weeks
quality
or something like that. So you do need the other CD players.
Yeah. So it looks, I'll admit, yeah, it looks cool, but I'm a not on this. Still, yeah.
I feel like I'm the like supportive Asian auntie to all these Daebaks. I'm like, yeah, Daebak, why not?
It's okay. We can have a difference of opinion. This is fine. Okay. So that does wrap up this episode, guys. So before we go, please let our listeners know where they can find you on socials. Virginia.
Oh, yes. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Threads at the Mandarin Mama, or Virginia Dwan _official.
And you can find Peter at DJ Peter Low on all the things. And you can find me at the Kpop Cast Slack under PD Nim. And of course, you can find all of us at the Kpop Cast Slack. So if you guys want to continue the conversation, talk about all the other stuff that we've talked about today, tell us how we're wrong or correct us, you can find us in the Slack. Also, if you want to support the show, please consider donating to our Ko-Fi. That goes straight directly to our editor, Philip, who makes the show possible. Okay, goodbye, everybody.
And don't you know how sweet it tastes? How sweet it tastes. don't you know how sweet it tastes? Yeah, don't you know